September 29, 1988, a pilot of a commercial flight is held at gunpoint, his head to the cold barrel of the hijacker's revolver. The police try desperately to negotiate with a highly unstable hijacker. Just how on earth did so much go wrong? Well, this is the story of hijacking of VASP Flight 375, the flight that wouldn't quit. But to understand the chaos that unfolded in the air, we must first look at the turmoil on the ground. Our story begins not in the clouds, but in the stark reality of economic hardship. The late 1980s in Brazil were marked by hyperinflation, a crisis that crippled families and fueled widespread discontent. In the midst of this struggle was Raimundo Nonato Alves da Conceição. Nonato was one of many Brazilians grappling with unemployment and a sense of powerlessness. Imagine the desperation, to watch your savings erode, to struggle to provide for your family. This wasn't just about numbers on a balance sheet. It was about human lives being squeezed. Nonato, feeling abandoned by the system, began to harbor a dangerous resentment towards the man he believed was responsible, President José Sarney. His plan, audacious and horrifying, was to strike at the very heart of the establishment. The target, the Palácio do Planalto in Brazil. The weapon, Boeing 373.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff.
Pilots were First Officer Salvador Evangelista, who was a proud father of Wendy Evangelista. The captain was Fernando Murilo de Lima e Silva, who had thousands of hours in the sky. He was certainly an experienced pilot. They were bound for Rio de Janeiro, then Belo Horizonte, before its final leg to Brasilia. On board were 98 passengers from all walks of life, each with their own destinations and expectations for a routine journey. Among them was Raimundo Nonato. Security measures at the time were far less stringent than today. Nonato was able to board with a concealed .32 caliber revolver. As the aircraft approached, likely somewhere between Belo Horizonte and Brasilia, the unthinkable happened. Nonato made his way to the cockpit. Picture the scene, the sudden intrusion, the shock, the realization that their flight was no longer under the control of the trained professionals in the front. Inside the cockpit, chaos erupted. Raimundo Nonato confronted the pilots, his desperate intentions becoming horrifyingly clear. In the ensuing struggle, First Officer Salvador Evangelista tragically lost his life. He was the first casualty of this desperate act. Imagine the weight of that moment for Captain Fernando Murilo de Lima e Silva. Facing a gunman, having just witnessed the death of his colleague, he was now responsible for the lives of everyone on board. Nonato's demand was simple and terrifying. Fly to Brasilia and crash into the Palácio do Planalto. But Captain Silva, with incredible composure and bravery, knew he had to act. What happened next defies belief. Faced with an impossible situation, Captain Silva executed not one, but two incredibly risky and highly unorthodox maneuvers. A tonneau, a full 360-degree roll, and then a rapid, disorienting spin dive. Can you even fathom the terror and confusion within the cabin as this massive aircraft was thrown into these violent motions? Passengers, completely unaware of the battle raging in the cockpit, were subjected to extreme G-forces, their world turning upside down. This wasn't textbook procedure. This was a desperate act of heroism. A pilot risking everything to save everyone else. Did it work? For a crucial moment? Yes. Nonato was disoriented, his control wavering. With the aircraft dangerously low on fuel, Captain Silva managed to make an emergency landing at Santa Genoveva Airport. The immediate physical danger was over, but the ordeal was far from finished. Imagine the scene on the tarmac. Paramedics waiting anxiously, police scrambling to secure the area, and inside the aircraft, nearly 100 terrified passengers held hostage. A tense standoff ensued. Nonato demanded a smaller aircraft to facilitate his escape. Negotiations began, a delicate dance between the hijacker's desperate demands and the authorities' efforts to ensure the safety of those on board. After several long hours, the standoff reached its climax. As Raimundo Nonato attempted to descend from the aircraft, using Captain Silva as a human shield, he was fatally shot by Brazilian federal. Besides First Officer Salvador Evangelista, another individual tragically lost their life during this event. Raimundo Nonato Alves da Conceição. 2 lives extinguished in a moment of profound desperation and violence. What do we make of such events? What compels a person to such acts? And what does it say about the societies in which such desperation can take root? Although lives were lost, let's not forget it could have been far more tragic. Thanks to the brave act of heroism from the pilot. Think about Captain Fernando Murilo de Lima e Silva, a pilot who went beyond protocol, who risked his own life through sheer ingenuity and courage to save others. For his actions, Captain Murillo was considered a national hero. He was honored by the National Aeronaut Union and received the Aeronautical Order of Merit and the Santos Dumont Medal of Merit in 2001. Tragically, he passed away in August of 2020, but his legacy will be of a national hero. The scars of Flight 375 remain, a testament to a day when the ordinary turned terrifying, and the courage of a few stood against the desperate act of one.